This episode is about embracing and claiming what you need and healing up any areas of you that have felt like you're not allowed to have what you need or that you're too much. The Embody podcast accompanies you on your journey of remembering and embodying your true nature, integration and alignment with your vibrational clarity, self-love, and living a life of beauty and wholeness. It's a menu of transformative healing tools, experientials, meditations, and practices from a blend of family constellations, somatic therapies, and holistic and spiritual practices, sprinkled with vulnerable conversations with people who have the courage to be themselves, Alive Now episodes with updates on my personal process, and Reverie episodes that are spiritual succulents that honor, reveal, hug, shake, or stir you into love. I'm your host, Candice Wu, integrative and intuitive healing facilitator and artist. I want to talk about a topic today. Oh, geez, mic fell on me. Take two. I want to talk about a topic today that's been on my mind, and it's been active for some of my clients as well. And it's about your needs and wants, especially your needs. Have you ever found yourself just not asserting your boundaries or your needs, the things that you feel safe with, the things that you want in a relationship perhaps, or in an environment or your workplace, that you just don't feel safe voicing, that you feel like, no, I'll just deal with this, or I will just work harder to, do what I need on my own. Or you think maybe I'm wanting too much, or that there's something wrong with me. There's this gaslighting to yourself that you're not meant to have these needs, but you do. Or that you can always heal yourself later and just deal with it now, deal with the stress, and go home and do what you need to do for yourself. Or maybe you experience outer gaslighting where other people feel like, well, that's an interesting need that you have, or you're so sensitive, or you're too sensitive, or you have lots of emotions, or you have these special needs. And the message I want to share today is that your needs are not up for any criticism or debate. Your needs are your needs, and you are the baseline of your own needs. Your needs can evolve and change, but whatever they are in this moment is valid. And you don't have to accept any criticism for what you need or any debating about it. This is you, and you get to have those needs. Think about a cat or a dog, or horses in my case, because I see horses a lot. We're often allowing for animals to have different needs and different situations where they may be finicky or scared or shy or have certain food needs. And we just allow for that. We accept it, and we work around it, and we say, this is what that cat needs. They get to be picky. They get to be scared. They get to be tired or whatever. So we can apply that to ourselves and really deeply love ourselves by accepting exactly what we need in this moment. And our body can tell us what that is. Or you can, over time, have realized, this is working for me and this isn't. And why do we feel in certain cases we can't share our needs or assert them or state them and let others work around that or adjust or understand what we need. And a lot of times for me, it's about it snagging into some younger fear or a fear of another lifetime or something that came through my lineage that was learned, that maybe you're not allowed to have certain needs. You're not allowed to assert them or have what you need. Or that if you do have needs, then you're bad, you're selfish, or that people will leave. So the fear of abandonment, the fear that you might get judgment or lose the feeling of loving coming towards you. And when you look at those fears, if you can give yourself the love or the self-compassion, and you're truly strong in that, then it begins to not matter what happens outside of you. Of course, every situation's different, and there are certain relationships or dynamics or situations that you'd have to weigh, or you feel like you have to weigh what's more important, maybe as a means to an end, or like to get to the next step of what you need. And there comes a point where, maybe not for everybody, but there came a point for me where it was important just to declare them, at least to myself, and write to the universe that this is what I need, and that I could attract the very thing that I needed coming towards me, or the thing that I wanted, rather than trying to shapeshift into situations that already exist. Let those be an outpouring of the past and create something new. So essentially, working with your own energy and your own vibration, with a lot of loving in your own energy, to say, this is what I need and I'm worthy of it. And to let that radiate outwards, and to allow that new thing to come in. And maybe there are parts of you that feel safe to assert what you need, and different parts of you, maybe a younger part, maybe a part that is critical in you, or has fear, or is connected with a past life or someone else in your ancestry. Maybe another part of you doesn't feel safe, and to explore what makes it feel scary. What brings the panic on? For some parts, maybe they're used to serving other people's needs first and feeling unworthy of being the priority. And just going back to the thought of selfish, we need to have some level of selfishness in a good way in order to come into our full worthiness, in order to put what we feel and what we want first to ourselves, and that we allow, or we see that others have that autonomy too. By truly accepting what your needs and wants are, that is to some degree what people would call selfish, or self-centered, centered on yourself, centered on you, because you are the only one that can give yourself fully what you want and need. And not to bypass those needs, to just quietly let yourself suffer in certain ways. Maybe to stop being the good girl or the good boy or the good kid, the good person, but to be a fuller version of yourself. Sometimes we encounter that in certain relationships where we're not sure if our needs could be met, or if we could even assert them, or we're scared to assert them or say what they are. I often see people feeling like the other person is the baseline for what needs are allowed to be. So, for example, if you have certain food needs and your partner doesn't, and they just eat whatever, it can feel like your food needs are a hassle or a burden or too much, too complicated or complex, and that the baseline is the other person that doesn't have any needs. But that's not really fair. It's not really fair. So while your partner may not have particular needs around food, that may be their own baseline. Maybe that changes over time too. And you have particulars that are your baseline and what you need, just like a dog might need certain kind of dog food or a certain timing of the day that they need medicine or a walk. Your needs are completely yours and allowed and worthy. And not everyone can fulfill our needs, but that doesn't mean that they're not worthy. I feel that feeling into that worthiness is the first step. And how do you feel into that worthiness if you don't feel that it's there? Well, one thing is to let yourself feel better. And when you feel like certain thoughts or beliefs make you feel worse, examine them. Because the ones that feel good are the ones that are true. And for example, we are inherently worthy. It might come complicated with other feelings, but when you get to its core, feeling that you're worthy and it's a given that you're worthy, our energy just resonates naturally with that. So it might be to forgive yourself for any beliefs that you have and have held around feeling unworthy of your needs and wants, or feeling like you're too much, feeling like you have to have no needs in order to be loved or to belong, or feeling like you need to accommodate others in order to be loved. And when you shed these beliefs, it lets you own your needs. It lets you own that you are your own baseline for what you need, and you are the decider of what you need. Your body is, your heart is, your mind, you. And maybe forgive yourself for any self-gaslighting you've done or self-betrayal around what you've needed and the times where you've silenced what you've needed or held it back. And a little understanding goes a long way. There may be certain reasons or fears you had when you held back what you needed. Just forgive yourself for those. Take whatever parts of you that have been hurt by that, by your own self-betrayal or by being in situations where you could not or did not ask for what you needed or take what you needed or do what you needed. Let yourself imagine those scenarios differently and let that recover in you. So I hope that was helpful. It's just been something that's been on my mind, that you are your own baseline and that you are completely worthy of everything you desire and everything you need. Thanks so much for joining me today, and looking forward to connecting with you next time on the Embody Podcast. Always feel free to send me topics that you're interested in hearing about or exploring together. You can email them to me at embody@candicewu.com. And we'll see you next time on the Embody Podcast.